Whereabouts for you? You're North
Oh,
Florida?
yeah, man. I kind of just wanted to. Obviously, we're getting on here to do the interview part, but other than that, just wanted to go over the main details of how the what's it called, buyer's bridge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
BuyerBridge.
How the buyer's bridge we could utilize that with our land buying team as a builder to go ahead and obviously buy more lots, potentially get into new markets with the data you guys have on um, different builders, the buy boxes you have, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, if you could, he knows almost nothing about it besides what I've explained to him. So if you
Yeah.
could just break it down and lay it out to us simply, that would be great.
So
guys,
basically,
by the way.
what's
Hey,
up?
nice to meet you,
Hey, sorry.
Nice to meet you guys.
So basically what BuyerBridge is, and like you guys are now in the system, right? So you guys are now a verified buyer for all of your markets, right? We put all your zip codes in there. So basically what it's for is someone gets a lot in Duval County and they search the address. It'll take that zip code and say, okay, cool. Sage Builders is going to be a platinum buyer. Right. So it'll have you guys pop up. It'll have your phone number, your email, what you guys are buying with your full buy box. And now users can say, okay, cool. I can call them. I can email them. I can say, I got this lot. Here's what I'm asking for it to connect with you guys. Right. So that's going to be the first thing. There's also a full CRM integrated for the users. There's going to be, they can send their contracts off of there. They're going to be able to find new markets on there. And then there's going to be a joint venture platform, right? So users can submit their deals. And if a user submits their deals, and one of them has you guys in their contacts or under their private buyer section, they can say, oh, wait, Carson's worked with Sage before, and Jackson just got a deal there. Jackson and Carson, you guys should partner together because he has a buyer in your market. So now the users can partner with each other, right? So like what we're going to do for you guys is you guys are looking for, if I'm understanding correctly, what, 500 lots this year, right? So what we're going to do with you guys when you guys join is we're going to have you guys draft a text message, right? So you guys are going to put together, hey, we're looking for this, 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 and this. And then we are going to text it and then we're going to email it to all of our users, right? Here's their contact information. If you guys have any lots in this area, if you guys go and send your marketing in this area, this is what they're paying. This is what they're looking for. Here's their contact information. You guys go find a lot, partner with them. And then I wanted to like ask you guys also, because a lot of people have this like misconception, and it's my understanding like you guys are trying to do volume and do the builds and stuff like that. Let's say you guys say you're paying $50,000 for lots in a certain zip code in Jacksonville, right? Which maybe you are, maybe that's a little bit too much, but let's say you're paying $50,000 for a lot. You guys do not care if somebody gets it at 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. You guys will pay out that 30,000 finder fee, correct?
Of course.
For us, we want the people that we work with to make as much money as possible because that means we're going to get the first look at any single deal that they get if we're paying them out the largest assignment fees. So I don't care if somebody gets a lot for $3,000 and sells it to me for $1 million. Like, doesn't matter to me. Like,
so how many different wholesalers are you guys working with right now?
Sage has got quite a list.
Right now I have, so I got my little wholesalers section here. It's like
149.
Wow.
Yeah. I have quite a few of them. I will say, and as you guys probably know, most of the people that are trying to get into this business and do deals, they'll find buyers, but they don't really know what they're doing. Like a lot of people will get in, try and find a buyer, build a relationship with them, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing by any means, but they'll build a relationship with a buyer and then they'll have no idea how to get a deal. So they'll just be shooting me over on market stuff. They'll be shooting me over stuff that makes absolutely no sense. And floods, wetlands,
So, and that was kind of the whole premise behind BuyerBridge, right? And transparently, the software would probably make a lot more money if we made it $47 or $97 a month. We could have thousands of people in there. And that was never the idea behind it. As we said, we want people that are good at this, that are serious about this. We want like almost like a verified platform, right? Because anyone that understands how to wholesale correctly, $497 a month for this platform is insane, right? It's like one deal pays for my whole annual membership. But if you're not good at wholesaling, $497 is a whole lot of money for the month, right? So we don't want to release your contact data to someone that's not willing to spend $497 a month. So we almost like gatekeep the builder contact information with the price point, because these people that are 17 years old that watch one YouTube video and go in a Facebook group, no idea what the hell they're doing. But someone that's serious about this, gonna spend $497 a month, gonna commit to this and make this a real business, they're not gonna, for the most part, send you anything dumb, right? So that was kind of the idea behind BuyerBridge. And like everybody asked me why it's $497 a month. A big portion is we spend a lot of money on data, but the other side of it is we don't want people in there blowing up the builders that don't know what they're doing, right? Because it sounds like you do work with a lot that are good, and you also have a lot below you up that are not good, right? But it almost turns builders off when they're getting sent these deals that are bad deals and people that don't know what they're doing and stuff like that. So the idea behind BuyerBridge and the idea behind the price point is we want people that understand it's like, okay, cool, I make one deal, it pays for my whole year. So they have no issue paying the $497, and the people that do have an issue paying the $497, you don't want them sending you deals anyways, right?
And also for everybody watching this, and I'm sure a lot of people on BuyerBridge are watching this right now, what are you guys buying? Where are you buying? And we won't really drop the name or anything yet because we're going to drop that out in the text message and the email to everybody, and everybody on BuyerBridge can now go see and reach out to you guys and do deals with you. We added it in this morning, everybody. It was either last night or this morning, so they're all added in the system now. But so what are you guys buying? How many are you buying? Where? And yeah, if you could get into that.
You want to take this one off?
Yeah, of course. So for context, for everyone who's meeting us the first time, we're about 3 years old. So we're based in Jacksonville, Florida, and we essentially right now are picking up lots in the surrounding 4 counties. So that's Duval County, St. John's, Clay, and Nassau. Sage will kind of touch on, he's kind of in charge of looking at some of the new markets that we're moving towards. But I know the first one on top of our list right now is Kingsland, Georgia.
Yeah, we have Kingsland, Georgia that we're looking into. We also have a couple niche areas like Daytona North. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that. We like Citrus Springs, but it's a little bit further from our market, which I know you guys do business there. Everybody does. So we kind of want to get into there as well. So the new markets is not something I would want to completely focus on right now because we are a great buyer for the markets that we bought a ton of lots in as of right now. So I would want to focus on telling people that you guys are connected with, like all these wholesalers sending me deals in Duval County, literally anywhere in Duval County that's not like crazy custom home builds that would be more suitable for a custom home builder. We're a spec home builder. All of our builds are anywhere from $200,000 to probably around $650,000 at the highest end. And along with that, we also build in Clay County. I'm not sure if you guys have marketed in there, but there's 2 pockets in there that are really good. It's Middleburg and Keystone Heights is kind of all right, but 2 pockets in there that we will buy in. I just bought 2 deals in Keystone Heights this week with the wholesalers making $5,000 spread on them. So there is opportunity in places like Keystone, Middleburg. Along with that as well, we have Yulee and Callahan. They're more rural areas of like Fernandina Beach. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the outskirts of those areas, and we will buy in those areas. But I would say that's where we're buying. And as far as what we're buying, most of the lots that we buy are anywhere from as little as $7,000 all the way up to probably 100, 150. So that's kind of what I got.
And then how many lots did you guys buy last year?
I'd say probably around anywhere from like 125 to 150.
Okay.
And it was all in these areas. So there is, a lot of opportunity here for your guys who want to come in here and send us deals. And I know we weren't the full capture of the entire market in these areas. So the more people you guys have marketing out here, the more people you're going to find buying or selling at the right place, right time that can send to us that we're consistently buying deals at and paying out assignment fees. So I think it could be a place where people can.
And then what's your time frame for closing? So for everyone watching this, everybody always loves to know, do you guys work with the signers, which you've already covered, but like, of course you can confirm you guys work with the signers and wholesalers.
Yeah, of course.
And then what's your timetable to close?
Yeah, so we actually just got some kind of updated stuff on this. This is always the frustrating part working with the builder, right? If something's using city utilities in Jacksonville, our minimum's about 3.5 weeks. Really, it's about a month to close. But what's kind of cool, and this applies more so to Clay County, but if you're a wholesaler that you're kind of a volume guy and you need to get the stuff off your plate quick, if something has a well and septic, we can close in as soon as 2 weeks. It just needs to be that it makes sense and that there's nothing that, if you're outside of a marsh, like 100%, we're going to need that ED period. But yeah, for a standard well and septic, we can close as soon as 2.
And then, so you guys bought about, sorry, Jackson, real quick, I got one more question on this topic, then you're good. So you guys bought about 125, 130 lots last year. And then how many do you guys plan on buying this year? Or do you have the capability to buy? Like, do you guys have money to be buying more lots? Or I know you're expanding, but like, how many could you guys buy this year if you were supplied enough land?
Dude, I mean, we have partnerships with a couple of big banks across the United States. We're a pretty established builder and we have a lot of capital right now. So if we were sent enough deals that make sense, I couldn't really see there being a cap on how much we could buy, to be honest. Like, if there's a deal and it makes money, we're buying it. Like, whatever the case may be, we're going to buy it. I don't want to give an exact number figure of how much we have, but if we run out, we can get more like that. So,
as many people can bring, and then like, guys, just so like you guys watching this, right? Like, we don't own the land, right? So like for wholesalers, what that's meaning is we're going to find the deals for them, and like they already cleared this up and they'll confirm it right now. Is so let's say you'll pay $150 in a certain area for a lot, and somebody paid, let's say $5,000, and they want to sell, but a good agent won't work with them because all the good agents they know want to list $3 million houses. I get a hold of them. They agree to sell for $100,000. I sign a contract. I don't put up any money. I call you guys. You pay me out 50 grand. The seller gets 100. You guys get the lot, and I would make $50,000 to just connect the dots, basically. And you will do this as much as possible as long as the deal fits what you're looking for to build on. Correct?
Exactly. And I just want to add some context. That 125 number last year is Sage, myself, and our boss. So we've doubled our team since then.
Okay.
So it's just being able to handle the volume. Yeah, that was like 3 guys in a closet. So I mean, this year's pretty easy from there.
And then something else too, I just want to kind of give some clarity on, right? Because like this is such a big industry, and like the bigger it grows, the more helpful it is for you guys, and the more helpful it is for everybody, and the sellers getting able to sell their lots and everything like that. Is a lot of people will say, "Oh, Florida's so saturated. What are you going to do in 2 years when there's no more lots in this?" And first of all, there's hundreds of thousands of lots, but also it's like you guys are young, we're young, right? You guys still plan on doing this in 2 years, right? If you guys happen to build out all of Keystone Heights, you're not going to retire. You're just going to move to a new zip code, correct?
Exactly. I mean, what I like to do is I go and I look where other people are making money, and that's where I want to go, because I know with the skill level we have, we can capitalize on that market almost immediately and start making money and emerging there. So yeah, I mean, this is not an industry that's going out of business anytime soon. There's so many rural parts of Florida and everywhere in the United States, and there's constantly people flooding into our country wanting houses to live in, which means we're always going to be in business. So I love the idea of continuing doing this. So I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I really, really appreciate you guys getting on, and we are going to draft up with you guys after this call and send out the blast tomorrow to everybody. It's going to be an email and a text to all the individuals in BuyerBridge.ai right now. And I would imagine you guys will, I'll tell them too, like not to just reach out to make a connection, like reach out when you guys have a deal, right? And I'm sure, honestly, you guys there will be people with inventory in Duval County that will be hitting you guys up. So I think that'll be really good. And Duval is a great market, by the way, for people that are looking to get into land flipping and stuff. Like, first of all, understand what you're doing, understand how to comp properties, make sure there's no wetlands, like make sure you're going to find a good deal. But Duval is actually the market that we hit our first big deal in. We've done many deals in Duval County, and it's a great market to get into. And obviously it's going to be Florida, right? So it's going to be the same thing. Do you look for the wetland? Do you look for the street access? Everything of that nature. And then one thing that we didn't clear up yet, but you guys are going to be 100% residential builds on like scattered lots, correct?
Yeah. I will say if there is any development opportunity, we would want to take a look at it. I'm not going to say it's going to be a quick and easy deal that you guys can, make bank off of like that. Like a lot of developments require anywhere from 3 to 9 months due diligence before even getting to the payday. But we would like to look at those kind of opportunities. And what I'll say, one of the best things you can do as a wholesaler is do a ton of little deals and then have a big deal working in the background, because that can change $100,000 per year, profit to $500,000 per year profit. So that's one of the things that I would highly encourage. And we would love to buy as many developments as we can as well. They just have to make sense. They have to be a good deals. And obviously the time frame on the due diligence is going to be a longer close. And that's full transparency to anybody who wants to work with us on those. But we'd love to get those done.
Right. And I know Carson kind of mentioned it earlier, and I'm not going to say exactly how big it is so no one goes and tries to find the deal. But there was one I was working in Jacksonville, put a lot of time into. It's between 15 and 25 acres in Duval County. It's in Jacksonville. It can be split into 26 lots. I have all the surveys and stuff done for that. So I will send that over to you. Had an appraisal in hand for 800. We had them at 275, and the issue, this was in 2023. I was working on it. I still am in touch with the seller, so it's something that I will follow up on tomorrow and then get you guys over all the details. But the issue at the time was the price of dirt, because half of the 26 were currently going to have to be filled in because it was wetlands, right? But it's a good deal, good street access, good neighborhood. The new builds are selling around 400 to 450, and then half of the lots would be on a lake. So that is definitely something I will be in touch about after this call. Spent a lot of time on that deal and it didn't go through. So that was one that hopefully comes back around here.
That would be wonderful. Me and him would definitely love to take a look at that and see if we can make some money. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do is, because we get paid if we buy land. So as much land as y'all can send us, we want to buy.
I think this is so cool for people to see, because I don't think there's ever been a video like this out there, and we've never done it with anybody. So I think this is awesome. Like, we literally just connected, Sage, last night, I think at this exact time, 9 p.m. You posted something in the group and I reached right out and I'm like, this would be awesome. I see you're buying land. Let's connect. And you told me what you guys were doing with the builders and stuff. And I'm like, we can totally benefit each other, and students can definitely bring a ton of deals, and everybody in BuyerBridge can bring a ton of deals, and everybody wins. But like, everybody's so scared to reach out to builders or go find a deal and sell it. Are they really going to buy my deal? Do people really work with the signer? So getting this out there to be like, hey, look, we want to buy more land. We can close in 30 days. Everything that we already say, but coming from the actual source of the builder, of the people that are buying the land every single day, I think will be really cool for people to see. And like, guys, we connected last night. Like, we have not known Sage and Hayden for a long time, and like are doing this interview. Like, we literally connected with them last night, figured out what they're looking for, and we could be bringing them deals tomorrow, Monday, February 2nd, after connecting. You know what I mean?
Right. And a big thing. Go ahead.
Right. One thing I wanted to share. One of the things that a lot of your guys could be doing if they want to send good deals to builders like us is they need to be looking up the entity name on the property appraiser to see what we're paying for each lot and each zip code, and going back, like, let's say they look at lots, because they can look up our entity and see all the lots we bought last year and see the prices we paid per zip code, everything like that. And they could be locking up deals $1,000, $2,000 under what we're paying. And then we could be doing deals like crazy. So there's so many different ways to be able to get this done.
Something else that they can do, right, is like, so like they get a lot, let's say, and then they go in Zillow and they see that you guys built a newly built house and you have it listed for sale 3 lots over, right? If you guys just simply scroll down on Zillow, you can actually see what the lot sale was. So let's say the house is listed for 400 grand. It'll say, okay, cool. In 2024, they purchased that lot for 40 grand, right? So now they can go and get it for 30, offer it to you at 38, right? So that's a big thing. And then something else too, that like, again, this is questions that we get. We understand this is not how it works doing a lot of land deals, but a lot of people will say, well, why doesn't the builder cut you out? Why don't they just go direct to the seller, right? And one, like, my understanding is you guys are spending your time building, but also for you guys, right? Like, you guys are trying to scale this company a lot, right? Like, you guys have doubled your team. You guys are looking for hundreds and hundreds of lots. Your guys' goal with this is for Carson and myself to bring you 100 lots this year. It's not for you guys to cut us out on the first deal, save yourself $2,500 and never do business again, right? So a lot of people have that misunderstanding. I think it's just because they're new to business. They don't understand how business relationships work.
I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. Why don't you cut wholesalers out, and why don't you get every single deal like the wholesalers? Like, why do you guys get deals from wholesalers? I'm curious.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the business lives off of wholesalers first. Like, we're spending as much time as possible. It's probably not an open secret around that we might sleep in our office a couple nights a week if we have to. So we are busy. But it's exactly what you guys said about, like, Sage and I are trying to be the face that you guys can rely on, the people that you can call when you need advice, when you need someone to tell you why this lot that looks right can't be built. And, that reputation goes by pretty quickly, especially nowadays, if you're the type to cut people out. And also, like, I lean more on the rapport side when it comes to sellers and closings and everything like that. And I've got like one specific guy in mind in Jacksonville who I'll call the same people, and it just doesn't click the right way. So,
Right.
there's something to be said about your own ingenuity and like how you
Yeah.
run a business. It really depends.
And a lot of people too, like when they are first getting started out, especially, is they think, oh, I need to text and call every single builder in Jacksonville. And I need to build my buyer's contact list of 100 people. So Carson and I have done 850 deals at this point. 500 of them have been with the same 4 people, right? Like you just need one person. Like for an example, like if we were only doing wholesale land right now and we had this conversation, Carson and I would sit down tonight, we'd get on a call exactly like this, and we'd sit down and break down exactly what you're looking for. And we would work directly for you guys for the next 2 months and bring you guys 90 lots, right? And then we'd figure out, okay, how many more do you need? Let's go to Keystone. Let's do this. There's no reason to have 100 builders, right? Like you don't want to just have a conversation with them and never send them a lot. Your idea when you build a relationship with a builder is to build a relationship and then go do 150 deals with them. And there's no reason to ever stop, right? You only need one builder relationship. You don't need 100, right? So like that's a big thing that people do is like you probably get blown up all the time. You tell someone what you're buying and you never hear from them again because they have that same conversation 20 times rather than go calling 20 sellers to actually bring you guys a deal, right? So like,
yeah. And to extrapolate on what he was saying, I would much rather have an army of wholesalers than me trying to go direct to seller to 30 different people. You know what I mean? Because that means I get to get first look at every deal that's going on around me. Of course, we have our own core team that is trying their absolute best to bring in as much deals as possible to the company, but there's obviously stuff that they can't hit. But if we have 500 people who are scouring the lands to find deals for us to buy, and of course they're going to make money on it, that's much better than me going and undercut them for $3,000. And also another thing to keep in mind is if you're working with an actual established builder, I don't get paid on how much money the deal makes. I get paid per deal. So
right.
And that's most builders. Like
that's interesting. You bring that up, and you brought that up to me last night. I didn't know that. So that's really interesting for me, and I think for everybody watching this to understand that, because they're like, "Oh, I want to talk to the actual builder. I don't want to talk to the land acquisition guy." And it's like, you need to
how
talk
it works.
Yeah.
And you want to talk to the person that's getting paid for getting the deal done. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We're not gonna. There's absolutely zero incentive for most builders. I'm not gonna say all because I don't know every builder, but I do know most builders are either getting paid salary or per deal. They have zero incentive to cut you out for $2,000 because it's not even going in their pocket. So.
And it's crazy too how many just like, which I didn't even understand when we were heavy wholesaling, is the sheer amount of volume just going on. You know what I mean? Like meeting you guys and stuff. And there's hundreds, if not thousands of builders in the country doing hundreds of deals a year, right? Like there are just hundreds of thousands of lots being built on, right? And again, like no one's ever been inside of a house that wasn't at one point vacant land. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much building going on. It's always going to be such a big industry and it's only growing right now. So like, it's something that to answer everybody's question, like, no, it's not going away. Right. And there actually needs to be more people.
It's crazy. Like a major builder, like you guys are going to be after this year, came out 3 years ago. You know what I mean? To see that growth is crazy.
Yeah. And I was going to touch on what Jackson was saying. This is like more of a one-off deal, but just for context, like what I love about Jacksonville is, it's not a city like Palm Beach or somewhere where it was built all at the same time. Like there are pockets that are always going to have rundown houses, mobile homes. I have a closing this week, hopefully, for like a local business that reached out to me, and it's going to get turned into about 15 lots in a neighborhood that we enjoy. And so that's what's exciting about Jacksonville and in general is, you're never going to run out of opportunity. Jack's Beach is still getting hit up. Lots are still getting sold on the water every day.
Right. And then in 15 years from now, when Jacksonville is fully built out, you guys go 10 miles west and there's another area to build out, right? And then those get subdivided, paved roads, and then there's another couple thousand homes to build, right? 10 minutes west of Jacksonville, right? So
exactly. I mean, as long as it's like 2.5, 3 hours away from a major metropolitan area, like you can probably do wholesale deals there.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as there's places where people can go and work, then there's definitely going to be a marketplace for homes needing to be built.
That's how it will always work. And like a great example of this is 15, 20 years ago, like West Palm Beach, like these areas weren't as built out as they are now, right? So lots in Loxahatchee, Florida were about $5,000 in 2005, right? Now Palm Beach, West Palm, they're all built out. Loxahatchee, for reference, is about 15, 20 minutes from West Palm, further from the water, right? Now that that's all built out, all the builders are building in Loxahatchee. These lots are now 275 grand, right? So what does that mean? It means these builders will pay 275, but the person that bought it in 05 paid 5 grand. So I call and offer them 250. They just made 245 grand on their lot. And then the builder gets it for 275. I make 25 grand. And as soon as Loxahatchee fills up, they're going to Okeechobee. And then they're just going, you know what? Like Port St. Lucie was 3 grand in 2017. Right now they're 160, right? And it just happens in all these markets, but these people still paid 3 grand, right? So you offer them 150, you still get to make 10 grand. The seller makes 147, gets to sell their lot. The builder gets to build their home on the lot, make their money, and everybody wins to an extent, right? So it's just like, the only thing is just kind of following the market trends. And every couple of years, cool, Port St. Lucie's full. Now we're going to Vero Beach, right? Like Jacksonville's full. We're going to Palm Coast. Then we're going west. Then we're going to Keystone. Then we're going to Marion Oaks, right? So it's just like, it's just an ever growing industry, and having that relationship, right? Like you guys would be the first to tell us, right? Because if you don't have a relationship with someone like you guys, then we don't know what's next, right? Because we just see where the houses are built, right? But you guys are buying the land the year before the house is done, right? So you guys are like, oh, wait, Jacksonville's full. We're going to start moving over here. Now we know to go market in Palm Bay for you guys because you're moving areas before you even build the houses, right? So that's why those one-off relationships and having a good relationship with a couple people is such a big thing to have for everybody just getting started out in this.
Exactly. And my plan would be to first, I want to capitalize on as many lots as possible in Jacksonville and Clay County, or Duval and Clay County, sorry. And after that, as soon as I get clearance to start buying in other areas, after we do enough market research and understand exactly where we need lots for, I'm going to mobilize as many of your wholesalers as possible to be bringing me lots in these areas, because we have near unlimited money to buy as many as possible. So that means unlimited money for your wholesalers to start making. So that would be my plan. Obviously it's a step-by-step process. It doesn't happen overnight. Right now, the opportunities where I explained previously, in the future, we already have steps and plans in place for where your people can come in and capitalize on the opportunity.
Yeah. And I just want to touch on super quick, because I just love talking about like the symbiotic relationship between the two. Like what the wholesalers also get is what he just preached on, which is like you're going to get a heads up from builders who are actively making money on where it's going. And on the flip side, like obviously we get your guys' lots and first cracks, but I don't want to throw Carson and Jackson, for a loop here, but we're open to doing videos, sitting down, explaining how to do due diligence, what makes a lot buildable, what makes it interesting, so anyone that's close with us, the 149 people in his phone, they get that feedback. He's on the phone more so coaching than he is closing at this point. And that's the sweet spot right there.
We have enormous amounts of insider knowledge that we would love to dump into your channel to be able to have your people understand exactly what they need to do down to the letter, to be able to bring us and other builders at the end of the day, whoever they need to work with to make money,
Yeah, that's awesome for you guys to say, because I always say this too when people are like, oh, how am I going to know about wetlands and trees and this and that? And it's like, you're going to learn all that information from the builder. When you bring him a deal, his feedback is either going to say, yes, let's do it. It's a good deal. It's $2K below what I paid for the last one. Of course, I'll do it. Or it's going to be, hey, this one's got more tree coverage. This one's in wetlands. I need to be at 38,000 instead of 45. Now you know that for next time, but you don't learn that unless you actually go get a deal and bring a deal to a builder. And then the builder is going to give you his information, his insight, all of their experience. And then that's how you learn and master a market, and then do 100 deals with you guys, 120 deals with you guys throughout the year. And we were really good about finding an area, mastering a market, working with 1 or 2 people, getting their feedback to where when we talk to a seller, now we know we can negotiate and say, hey, you got tree coverage on half your lot. That's going to cost me $4 grand. You got wetlands in the back half. That's going to cost me $7 grand. Hey, I'm going to have to put a seawall here. That's going to cost me 25 grand. But we didn't know that starting out. Of course we didn't. We learned that from somebody like you guys giving us the insight. And a lot of people, because they don't have the insight, never end up doing it or finding a deal or reaching out to sellers. And it's like, well, you're never going to get a deal unless you get the insight and learn the market, which you learn that from people like you guys.
A huge thing too is I think people worry and they stress out, like especially when they're first getting into it, because they hear these big words that they've never heard before. But it is so easy. Like wetlands, you can usually tell in the aerial, right? Like it looks a little bit darker. right? Utilities is one website. You copy paste the address. It says yes or no, right? Like there's very few things that go into lots, and you can find everything out about every lot within 45 seconds, right? So those of you that are getting into it, like I would love to have you guys film some due diligence videos and how to find certain things about the lots and stuff. That would be absolute game changer for everybody to see. But also, like, guys, you can just ask ChatGPT, right? Like the other day, we did one in a new market in a new state. How do I find utilities in Bullhead City, Arizona? Oh, this GIS website. Click, copy, paste on my phone. Oh, it has utilities, right? Like that's all it is, guys. Like it's not very difficult. And with all the resources you have with technology and stuff today, you can ask Google, how do I find utilities in Palm Bay? It'll pull the website up. You paste the address. You confirm it has utilities or not. Wetlands, if it looks dark, then it probably is wet. If it just looks like greenery, it probably is not wet, right? If there's houses surrounding it, there's probably no wetlands, right? Like, and then there's obviously the wetland surveys. And then I don't know if you guys run into environmental issues too much. But another big thing is as like a wholesaler, what you guys want to do is basically relay the exact information you get from Sage and Hayden and builders and just relay it with your price, right? So for an example, if I send you a lot and you're like, I have to be at 45,000, the brush and the trees are going to cost me 10 grand. I would now go to the seller and say, hey, I got to be at 41.5 because of the trees and the brush. And that's how expensive it's going to be, right? So just relay their exact information, put your clip on it, 3,500 bucks, 5 grand, 10 grand if it's more expensive, 100 grand if it's $1 million lot, right? And just basically do all the outreach, reach out to everybody, agree on price, get that contract signed, and then just bring it to them on a silver platter and then collect your check.
And
right?
also that's what's going to separate you from every other wholesaler. Like that's why we've done really well, is because we sound so experienced and so knowledgeable. Like we know this market like the back of our hand, because we're just relaying the information like people like you guys are telling us. You know what I mean? Like Jackson's saying, it's just using that information to your advantage. And then your 2-minute conversation that you have with the seller makes you come across as 20 times more knowledgeable. And then they'll sign a contract with you rather than somebody else, because you know what you're talking about, because you got one good builder locked in that gave you the insight that you're going to have a relationship for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And like, that's why we tell people to find the builder first. And, you know, like go on BuyerBridge, lock in one good builder, and then learn the insights of the market. Find as many deals as possible for that person, rather than going and trying to find hundreds of builders or reaching out to random people or giving them a comp of a deal that's way too high after the fact, because then you're never going to make a relationship and you're not going to do it.
That's something else. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but people are like, do I get the builder first? Do I get the seller first? And all I'm saying is, even if you're a beginner, be serious about this and don't reach out to a ton of builders, right? Like you guys even said it. And like, I think you'll confirm right now, Hayden, Sage, if someone reached out to you tomorrow and they said, hey, listen, I just watched I've been studying for the last 12 hours. I really want to get into wholesaling. And transparently, I've never done a deal before. I'm going to spend the next 50, 60 hours a week for the next 6 months. All I'm going to do is work exclusively for you. I need you guys to teach me about Duval. Tell me everything. Give me just an hour. Just tell me exactly what you're looking for, how I find wetlands, how I find utilities. And I will spend the next 6 months contacting every seller in the market. And I'm going to bring you 100 lots, right? Like, from my understanding, like you're happy to sit there on the phone and actually tell them, but it's not someone that you're going to help or want to help if they're going to go call another 90 builders and do the same thing just to build a book of buyers. It doesn't matter, right?
That's correct. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's less of an incentive for us if we are spending time cultivating these wholesalers, teaching them the knowledge that is very difficult to learn. And it took us a long time to learn all these things that we know. Why would we want to pour into these people if they send us over a deal and for some reason it doesn't work, for whatever reason, if they're just going to go to 90 other builders and send it to them? Our goal with working with people is we want to be extremely user friendly. We want to be a tool for you guys to make as much money as possible. But at the same time, with that, it is still a transactional relationship, and we want to get first look at each deal. I mean, that's just
this is a big thing. This is my not only advice, this is like a rule for anybody wholesaling. And you guys would be shocked, even people that do this at a high level that do this, is you can never send a deal to more than one buyer at a time, right? So if you guys are my guys, I send it to you, and maybe I know 3 other people in Jacksonville, but until I get a yes or no for you, and maybe I say, hey, listen, I need to know in 48 hours, right? But until I get a yes or a no from you, I cannot send it to anybody else. And I cannot tell you guys how many people do this, especially beginners. They get their first deal locked up, they get their 100th deal locked up, and they send a blast text to 60 people. what do you do? Like, if you guys say yes, and then I say, oh, well, sorry, I sold it to XYZ, you guys will never answer my call again, right? So a huge thing is make sure when you guys are doing deals and trying to build and cultivate relationships with home builders is you send it to your best person first at the price you want, right? You get a yes or a no. If you get a no, now you send it to the second person, but you do not send it out until you get that yes or no answer. Right. So that's
even if they say, I'm going to go look at it tomorrow, that doesn't mean go give it to your second and third buyer. That means wait until they give you a yes or no answer. And if you need to know, say, hey, I just need to know within the next 12 hours, please, so I can figure out what to do with this. And then you wait until they say yes or no, until you offer it to somebody else. Never have multiple offers out to different buyers at the same time, because that's the easiest way for a builder to never want to work with you again.
100%. And I've got just a really good like live example that shows like two parts of that. One, this is a guy who's been working directly with our team, with my boss and myself, that sends me stuff. This also shows how hard we'll work with a good relationship. Not to get too personal, but I was at a funeral yesterday, and immediately after I had to step out and work through this with him because it was super important for him, and he's one of our closest people. And I spent probably 30 minutes on my own, just on my phone, Wi-Fi, researching and pulling a deed for him for a deal that I'm not going to get to touch because it's a house. But that's how you work with people when you bring them deals and you answer and you pick up the phone and you ask questions and you work hard. Like, that's the kind of relationship that we're looking for. And I'm sure, as being guys that buy lots, like, I'm sure that's what wholesalers are looking for too.
Yeah, I mean, we want to provide utility to these people. I mean, even if it's something to where like they brought us 3 lots this month, but they're also doing a house deal for some reason or another, and they need our help. Like, we're going to be there to try and help them as well. It's not a cutthroat relationship by any means. We want people who want to make money, but also want to give us first look at each deal and work with us closely. So that's at the end of the day what most builders, if not all, are looking for, because once a deal is sent out to everybody, nobody wants it unless it's a great deal. But if it's a deal that's sent out to 25 builders in the area, these builders have some sort of connection with each other, and they're going to be like, oh, we've seen this deal. Oh, why did this builder pass on this deal? Oh, there must be something wrong with it. Let me just tell them we're not interested. XYZ. So it's super imperative to, just find one guy, 2 guys that you really like and work with them one-on-one.
Right. And that's a huge thing also, is because another massive question we get when teaching wholesalers and stuff like that is, how do I comp? What do I offer here? You guys don't have to comp if you have a relationship with someone like you, right? So the first thing is, like, obviously it's not a good thing to ever send a deal before it's locked up, but like, I have my builder, if I've done 300 deals with the builder and I really get one that I don't really know if they're going to want it or not, I know he's not going to cut me out. Hey, listen, I just got this, seller's ready to sign. What will you pay for it? Let me go back to them, right? But I don't recommend doing that for anyone until you've done 50 deals with one builder. Don't send them a deal before the contract's signed. But another thing is, like, if you guys tell me in a zip code you're paying 40 grand, I don't have to comp a lot. I just have to make sure there's no lots listed beneath 40 grand, right? So never send them a deal where there's a comparable listing cheaper than you're sending it to them at, right? So if 38,000, the cheapest listing better be 45, right? Like, you guys are going to save money by working with us, right? So that's the first thing. But as long as they give you a price and it's cheaper than market value, you know what they are going to pay. So just offer the seller less, right? Like, whatever you guys want to make, right? If they're at 38 and the cheapest listing's 41, right? So they save 3 grand at the 38,000, and then you want to make 5 grand, offer 33, right? Maybe the seller comes back at 35 and you make 3 grand, right? So that's another thing. And then last question I wanted to ask you guys, because again, that's another question we get all the time, is will you guys cover the closing costs?
Probably the easiest question of all. If there's any cost to be closed on, the builder and the buyer pays for it just about 99% of the time. And we happily stroke that check, every single deal. I can't think of one. I'm sure you can't.
I don't think there's ever been one where we haven't.
Right? And then when you have that relationship with you guys, right, now you can tell the seller, because the builder is going to pay the closing costs, $33,000 plus all closing fees. So that's $33,000 net to you. So they know they get the 33. We're at 38 plus closing. Then the wholesaler will make the $5,000, no fees, nothing out of the assignment fee. They don't have to put up $1, right? So that's kind of how the process works for everybody that's kind of new to this, right? But again, it's an amazing negotiation to say to your seller, right? Because what we would always do is we would go and we talk to you guys, and you guys would say, okay, cool, well, septic, I'm closing in 2 weeks, and I'm paying $30,000 plus closing. So now I go to the seller and I would literally, like, sometimes I'd even send mail or text blasts and put this in the writing. And I'd say, hey, listen, I'll give you $25,000 plus closing costs and I'll close in 2 weeks, knowing that's what your terms are, right? So when you have that good relationship with somebody, it helps you so much in your negotiation, because somebody that's just going to be trying to lock someone up and sell it after the fact, they're going to put 90 days, they're going to put $50 earnest money. They're not going to know what to do because they don't actually have a builder in place that they're working with that they can reflect the terms to the seller on.
Exactly. And another thing you can always mention is, like, you're doing a deal off the market. You don't have to pay, 6 to 8% in realtor commissions,
Right.
which tanks the deal. Also, when you're doing a deal through a realtor, more than likely you're going to be paying at least a portion of the closing costs. So there's so much leverage that you can utilize when speaking to these people direct to seller. I mean, and doing a deal through a realtor takes like 6 months for land.
Not only that, yeah. So it's like they're waiting 6 months. Typically, land deals are paying 8%. Plus, because land's cheaper, the brokerage will clip a $450 fee on both sides. So you're at like 12% plus closing costs. It's like, all right, cool. I'm offering you 40. Realtor tells you to list it for 50. In 6 months, you're going to get an offer for 43. You're going to walk with 39 grand anyways, and it's going to take you 8 months, right? And another thing also is, from my experience, and there's outliers, right? Like, some of the best agents I've ever worked with have been land agents, right? But they also buy and sell 1,000 lots a year. 99% of land agents don't know what the hell they're doing, because any good real estate agent in Jacksonville is listing a $4 million house in the water. They don't want to list a $12,000 lot. It's the same commission. They don't want to go do showings at a lot and take drone photos. Like, they'd rather just make the same 3% they'd make on a $12,000 lot on a $4 million house. So you're going to get a brand new bad real estate agent to list your lot, take 8%. You're going to pay closing costs, and you're going to wait 6 months. Or you could work with me, get the same amount of money in 2 weeks, right? And then we could just flip it to you guys, right? So that's why it's actually like beneficial for every party involved.
I want to jump on. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's the biggest thing that you kind of forget. I'm sure you guys have as well once you're in the business, but like, no one knows anything about land. Like, remember that when you're on the phone with these sellers. Genuinely, I remind myself when I'm trying to explain what an overlay is and why the septic can't be put in and why I'm out an extra 25.5 to the seller. I just rely on, they also don't know. Hey, the city is sending me this paperwork. This is what we're stuck with. Like, just keep that in mind. I feel like I was so nervous on the beginning in the phone because I couldn't explain everything off rip, but most of these people don't really know the first thing about their zoning.
Yeah. And the other thing too is what I've realized about this industry, and it's a massive thing in just real estate in general, but especially this industry, is everyone needs to understand that if you practice universal good business, you will make a lot of money doing this, right? And everybody, like, you will never get rich off one deal, right? So never rip off a seller just because they bought it for super cheap, right? Don't push your builder and shop it around to multiple builders. Like, you are going to make a lot of money, and it's going to happen just based on doing good business. There's going to come a day, which happened to us, and we just happened to get a 27 pack of lots, right? So when you hit a $4 grand clip on 27 lots, you make a lot of money, right? But that's not us saying, okay, cool, we have this builder at 150, the seller paid $3 grand. I'm going to try to convince her it's worth 8 because she has a landline and doesn't know what she's talking about. And a lot of people will do that. But like, just being a good person, right? And just practicing good business and providing real value to the seller and the buyer in every situation. One, you're going to be able to do a whole lot more deals. And if you're doing 20 deals a month, I promise you're making a lot of money, right? But also you're going to hit your big deals, and eventually you're going to flip a $1.5 million lot, or you're going to find a seller that has 307 lots, or something's going to happen to where you still hit that big deal, but you're never going to get rich off one deal. So don't ruin your reputation trying to rip somebody off or trying to screw over a builder or trying to cut somebody out, right? It's just practice good business in every single aspect. And in the long run, it will always pay off, and you'll actually always make more money doing so.
Yeah, morality is huge in this business. I mean, everybody that I know in this industry who's making a lot of money is just a good person. Like, they're not screwing people over left and right. They're not trying to squeeze that extra $2 grand out of the deal. They're doing volume. They're being honestly just a good person to everybody that they're working with on each side and aspect of the business. So I would agree with that completely. I mean, I genuinely don't know anybody.
I can't tell all you guys how many times that are, again, we have the same couple builders we've done over half of our deals with, how many times we've given them the deals with no assignment fee, because the seller paid 10, 15 grand and they're like, listen, I paid 20,000. I cannot take a penny less than 20,000. Super stubborn seller. And the buyer's like, listen, I need to be at 20. I can't go $1 higher. Right. And it's like, yeah, sure. I could say, no, never mind. I don't want to fill my builder's quota. I'm going to go find one for 13. Or it's like, you know what? Hey, listen, I'm going to make no money on this, man. Like, I want you guys to get the deal done. And then every single time after the fact, they'll come back. Hey, listen, let's bump it up to 21.5 just so you guys can get something, right? But like just having that understanding of like just help people out to help people out, right? Like that. This is money in a deal that probably wasn't on the table 30 minutes ago. So even just connecting the dots and making zero just to build a relationship is worth sending 2 contracts just to help somebody out and build a relationship. And in the long run, you're going to do 200-300 deals with some of these builders when you build that relationship. So it's always worth just doing the right thing and just trying to bring as much value as you possibly can in every situation.
No, you're right on the money with that. And I have a funny story. Like I hope you guys know it happens to us too. You know, I talked about it. I had a deal where the day at closing, he essentially had something called city user fees pop up, and they're about $600. Like for context, guys, even we don't know what city user fees are. Like, the city sometimes just stacks taxes and stuff on. So I personally cashed apped him $600 just so that he would be able to close, and didn't even mention it until like 3 months later. So like everyone is doing that. That's doing good business and is actually doing volume.
Yeah. City. Yeah. I remember we were trying to do a subdivide and pave a street in Jacksonville. It was on 0 Maple Street. We thought it was going to be a massive deal. It turned out it was a good deal, but it was not what we thought it was. And I remember like we were trying to pave a street to get street access to basically what was someone's backyard. And we subdivided it to 4 parcels and we were trying to pave the road back there. And it was like, every tree you cut down, you have to plant a tree on another lot that you own in the city. Like there's just all these little rules and you got to go to the city and it's like all this stuff. And it's just like you learn as you go. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that anybody's like, there's nothing that I can teach you on YouTube or a course or anything. It's just like, I'm on the phone. We bought this lot. We put in there like, you got to plant a tree. So we're like, okay, well, we own this lot. Maybe we could go out there with some seeds and we're just trying to figure it out. And you meet people that have done it. Like, don't think too much about it before you guys start, guys. Just like practice good business, be a good person, and just talk to people every single day in the industry. And eventually you're going to learn. And I say this all the time. Like I've never seen somebody do this as a wholesaler, as a builder, and just practice good business and do the right thing and work at it every single day for 60, 90, 120 days and not be successful. Right. And like I say this to all the students and I say this to everybody I've coached and everything like that is if you sit there and you call 100 sellers a day and you have a relationship with a builder and you know what to offer them, you are calling 36,000 people a year. Right. Like what are the odds you can't get 10 people to say yes? Right. Average deal is $8 grand. Right. You get 10 people to say yes. Great. You just made 80 grand, 100 grand. Right. And that's only if you get 8 people out of 36,000. Right. So anybody that's consistent with this, if you guys are newer to business and stuff, this is probably, and the reason why we do it and we have done it for years is this is the best entry level business model I've ever seen in my life, to where we've seen high schoolers do it. We've seen, I don't care if you're 18 years old or 60 years old, you can sit there with your laptop and your phone and you can make 30,000 calls a year and there could be 30 grand at the end of the phone, any given call. Right. So for anybody that's looking to get into this, I think this is an amazing and a growing.
We've actually spoken to 74-year-old. I think was the oldest person we know doing it. Right. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I mean, shout out this kid, Pedro in Tampa. He's probably 15. And then I've got a guy in his 50s that's a security guard in town.
That's pretty cool.
He knows the people, like he knows his neighbors. So he'll just call me up. His name's Clevon. He introduced me to him and go walk the property with him.
That's crazy.
I'm looking forward to doing a lot of business with you guys. And we have a lot of students looking forward to doing a lot of business with you guys. And I genuinely appreciate what you guys do because you guys have people like you guys have changed our life, right? And like being able to work with people like you and being so great to work with. And I can tell that you guys are going to be very big for this industry and very big for our network and very big for BuyerBridge. So very, very happy to.
Yeah, and one more thing I'll throw in here is we'll stop the recording in a second, but we'll get you guys all hooked up on BuyerBridge so that we can start, helping bring more deals for you guys. And for everybody watching this, if you want to sell your deals to Sage and Hayden, you heard it here first. They're ready to buy hundreds of lots. They are going to be buying hundreds of lots. The link to join BuyerBridge is down below in the description. All of their information is on there. Their building company name, their buy boxes. I think you sent me Sage, like 20 different buy boxes and zip codes, something like that. Everything is on there. They're ready to buy. They're ready to go. So everybody on BuyerBridge, you now have access to them to sell them your deals. So this is amazing for us to be able to give this to you guys. So we're super happy with that. And in the description, you guys can join BuyerBridge right now.
And another thing is, guys, if you are new to this, don't just call them. We have a free community to teach you guys how to do this correctly. There's 10 hours of videos of us training you how to do it. Watch every YouTube video we have and watch the school community so you know what you're doing. Then give Sage and Hayden a call when you got some deals, right? Don't just, okay, cool, I'm going to flip them lots and make 100 grand a month. No, learn how to do it, study, spend a week, take some notes, watch the videos, understand what you're doing, then go into the game knowing what you're doing. But again, I really, really appreciate talking to you guys today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it as well. It's definitely, you know, I was just watching you guys on YouTube and thought it was interesting. So I just joined the community and then boom, we're in. So
Yeah.
definitely awesome to be making one with you. And I'm definitely glad to be here. And you got anything else, Aiden?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, guys, remember the sellers. There's 2 million of them. There's not as many good buyers. So go out there, hit the phones, study up through their course, go click the link, and then come give us a call. But we're eager and we're ready to give you guys all the knowledge we have, and hopefully put some money in your pockets while we're at it.
We're gonna make you money.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Thank you guys again.
I'm in the recording real quick, and then we'll stay on for a sec, guys. Hang on.
Sounds good.
And then, yeah,